Hey guys, today Jason and I talk about the top 5 watch buying mistakes to avoid. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome to the greatest YouTube show on planet Earth.
That's this one.
That's right. The Trading Desk with me, Joshua Thanos.
My name's Jason Main.
And my camping partner, Jason Main. My tent mate.
Not quite.
Not yet.
Not quite.
Yeah. Jason and I are going camping next week. That's what we're doing.
It's Thursday. Yeah. Thanks for tuning back in. I know you guys saw Josh was back and thought about not logging in, but I appreciate you doing so. Anyways, everybody thoroughly liked the Manjos show.
Oh, dude, Manjos is... Well, so this is... Guys, we love Manjos, and that's why. And if we can peg him down, would love to get him on the show really every time. And if, honestly, just him by himself would work too. But Manjos has been selling watches since before we were born.
Manjos is like the Tim Masso of sales.
Yeah.
Like he's the guru on that side,
well,
and Tim's all the watch knowledge.
He makes up way more than he knows, though. Too. That's funny. Manjos is a great bullshitter.
Yeah.
So, but no, I mean, he's been in this industry for so long. He's seen the ups and downs. His father was a watchmaker, so we love to get him on the show. We've been trying to get him on for an entire year.
Yeah.
And you're going to be out of town next week, right,
yes.
Jay? So you'll be in sunny South Florida next week, preparing for a group camping trip that we're doing. It's going to be fun. So check out our Instagram.
A little bit of cave diving also, I think.
We're going to go hunting, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Many things.
For the most dangerous
anyways.
Prey, right? But, yeah, so I was trying to get Manjos to come on the show with me next week, but he's going to be in Moscow.
Yeah.
Smuggling watches in certain body cavities, from what I understand.
Whoa.
I mean, I guess the hands are not body cavities, so I stepped out of line there, but... Let's move on. All right, guys. So let's start the show off.
Let me save Josh here with a sweet little intro into a wrist shot.
Yeah,
we'll just change the topic here.
Okay, fair enough.
There you go. Look at that. It's very icy. It's almost like it's a polar.
Ooh.
Yeah. So for those of you guys that are on the podcast, which is the #1 podcast in all of the world.
No. I think we're the #1 hobbyist podcast in Canada. So
yeah, like I said,
what's that all about?
All of the world. This is the 216570 polar, so white dial variation. GMT, it's the 42 millimeter. I just got it, and I've been switching back and forth, but I'm really, really loving this watch, and I think... for those of you guys that are kind of on the fence, black or white, I think this is a great accompaniment to like a Submariner, which I also have, or something else that's not as sporty. But really, really like this piece. And
one of the last Rolexes you can still get under, or sport Rolexes under list, or is it at list at this point?
I think it trades just a tad under list pre-owned. Mm-hmm. So for me, if I could nix the Cyclops from this crystal and put the glide lock buckle on it, it would be absolute perfection.
I wonder, can you swap it out?
The buckle will fit for sure. Just getting one's a pain in the butt.
Mm-hmm. Cannot order those.
But kind of stuck with the crystal, I think, unless... but yeah, if it had no date, I think it'd be perfect. But...
Really?
Anyhow, I'm liking it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
#1 thing, the little easy link, I prefer, obviously the glide lock from the Submariner buckle, but...
Everybody loves that.
Can't, it's Rolex, so you don't always get everything you want. You kind of conform to what they make. But
all right, and I'm wearing a Rolex as well, something new to my collection. Let's get a little zoom in there.
A little shiny.
Hey, we're blinging. All right, so this is the Rolex Datejust 2. So the previous version, the current version is the Datejust 41, which is the proportions are slimmed down a little bit. It's actually, for a lot of people, wearable. This is a 116334 with the Arabic numerals, the lilac Arabic numerals, and the silver dial. I've never had a Datejust before. I've had a few sport model Rolexes, and when the opportunity came to pick this up, I'm like, you know what, might as well get it. And it was a little beat up, and I just had it cleaned up, and the thing looks brand new. I'm really starting to like it. It took me a couple days to get used to it. If you guys were following me on my Instagram, my social media, I was posting pictures. I was in Miami for the last 10 days or so. And I was wearing a buddy of mine's no-date sub, right? Our friend Israel, who runs our service center, had a no date sub, and right before I was about to run to my plane, I go to, hey Israel, hey, you want to swap watches for a week or so? So he says yes. He wore my painter, I wore his no date sub, and I fell in love with that. So I started thinking about Rolexes, and then this came up, so I picked this up. Again, it took me about 3 days of wearing this to kind of really fall in love with it and understand
catch
it.
on, yeah.
And I really, really like it right now. So this is the 116-334. So this is the Datejust 2 41 millimeter lilac numerals. And Jason was pointing something out, which it's funny. Like, I buy a watch, like, I don't stare at the details. I like the way it fits. I like the watch itself and where I can wear it and things like that. Jason pays a little bit more attention to detail than I do. And he was saying that, it's kind of weird that the numerals are upside down here. You want to get another zoom in on this? So on the bottom of the case near 6 o'clock, which with this watch being upside down, you can see it's at the top here, but they're upside down.
Yeah, it's got like a funky layout to the Arabic. It's kind of cool. It's different in the way that, like we always say, we like the quirky off the beaten path type Rolexes. Mm-hmm. So I dig that.
Well, I like it even more that you pointed that out, and like I did notice that, but I didn't think about it. And I always like something weird and like funky, and I like, 'cause I'm kind of a weird dude,
it's like
right?
The Stranger Things, like the mirror numerals.
That's right.
The upside down.
The under what is it? The upside down? Is that the for? You don't remember our producer? Yeah, it is upside down. So yeah, so this is we're gonna name this the upside down.
There you go.
Right? Is that what it's called? I can't remember. I haven't watched an episode in a while. Okay, the upside down. So yeah, I think it's cool. It's funky. It has character. I don't know how long I'll keep it, but right now I'm feeling like this might have a permanent place in my collection. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. When Jason approves, I know I made a good decision. Alrighty, so that was wrist shots. Let's go to the top 5. Oh, wow.
It's a lot of Rolex.
There's an AP in there, too. Some high rollers checking out our website this week. So, all right, top 5 watches viewed on the website. And I think next week what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a cap, because we've been doing this for what? This is probably our 8th week that we did top 5?
Top 5, yeah.
Something like that. So I want to see if we're going to put something together to show trends over that time. So maybe I'll put that together next week, especially if I'm going to be doing the show by myself. So number 1, ceramic Daytona. If you guys haven't noticed, the ceramic Daytonas are up. The black dials have caught up with the white dials in terms of price point. So these are watches that were selling just maybe 5 or 6 months ago under 20. They're well over 20 now, and kicking strong. There's a lot of demand for the black dial, and if you have been watching these watches and watching our channel for a long time, you know that Tim prefers the black dial. I have preferred the black dial. I go back and forth, but for the ceramic for ceramic Daytonas, the black dial kind of wears larger as a large disc. And I know I just realized I started with the number 1 watch not as opposed to the number 5, but
right.
we'll just go this way.
Yeah.
All right, so number 1 most viewed watch this week was the ceramic Daytona at a $22,950 price point.
Honestly,
number
just
2, Jay?
my take on that, I actually have always kind of preferred the black dial over the white. I think it's a prettier overall piece. I know the white dials, that one everybody wants behind what it is, but the black dial just looks like a better cohesive design to me and truer to the original. So number 1, I could definitely see anytime stainless steel Daytona or sport watch for Rolex goes up, it gets some attention.
Yeah.
So number 2, right behind that, you have the 20 designation, so the 116520.
Yeah.
Obviously predecessor to the ceramic piece, and obviously I don't know. I've said it before. I think it's the prettier Daytona. As opposed to the ceramic piece, but also not a huge Daytona fan, so I don't know that either one would really stick in a collection for me, but I do like the 116520.
Well, they made that watch for more than 15 years, and that watch shot up in value recently. So you see, it's actually, I could see both those watches in the same collection. I like them both, and they're different enough. And if you like the way that of the fit and finish of a Daytona, I can see having both, and I know guys who do have both those in their collection. All right, number 3, we have the vintage sub no date. But what is vintage? You guys talked about it last week. Vintage used to mean anything over 25 years old. This is clearly not the case anymore. And I don't think that's a 25-year-old watch. No. That looks like a 90s. Though I guess a 90s now could be 25 years old. Yeah. It's crazy. But say it's a late 90s vintage sub no date, a 14060. At a $10,950 price point. Jeez, man, it's crazy. Just 5 years ago, which is the show before that, we
Right.
talked about just about 5 years ago. That watch would be listed for about half that. All right, what's number 4, Jay?
Yeah. Number 4 is I actually looking
These
at the
price points are very wrong here.
I think I'm looking at it real quick. So number 4 and 5, obviously, I think are wrong.
Yeah, maybe even 3 might be wrong too. So here, let me look these up real quick and make some adjustments on the fly.
But
you talk about that.
So
watch,
we
and I'll
have
look it up.
a very nice solid piece of rose gold in the shape of an AP Royal Chrono. Obviously,
26320
yeah, one of the
OR.
hottest. I would say one of the hottest chronos out right now. I think more people are coming around to spending this kind of money when you're talking about a solid chunk of gold, and then even the AP chrono and steels. You're seeing guys going after AP, right? Because they went, everything went completely vertical and became almost as legendary and almost as hard to get as the Daytonas. So, people are trying to hunt them down. The watch, personally, the chrono in the 41 sits a little big for my taste, but I do like the watch quite a bit. I like the steel pieces with the panda dials. They're really, really pretty.
Yeah.
But this is a whole nother level. This is like, definitely going to sell to someone who
It's flash.
is, getting off a private jet, getting into a Bentley, like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Letting people know how much money he's got. All right, so that watch, the real ask price for that watch, well, the retail's at 56.6. The asking price for that watch is one of the few APs you can still get under list. It was 46.95, and actually, the watch is sold this week. So, congratulations whoever sold that watch, and congratulations whoever bought it. All right, so 46.950, not 22.950, and then the last watch on the top 5 this week was a Rolex Yachtmaster 116622. So, if you guys remember, about a year or so ago, I had a 16622 platinum dial. So the previous version of this with like the older style bracelet. This one is a ruthenium dial with the light blue accents, the platinum bezel, and actually the ask price on that watch, which is still available, $11,450. So certainly a bargain compared to the listed price on this graphic here, $11,450. So just under the retail price, because I believe the retail price is in the 12s. This watch right now is being made in the ruthenium and the blue dial variant. I think, I don't know which one I prefer. I kind of like the blue dial.
I think I like this iteration better. I think the baby blue markers and accents kind of make it a little special, like we said, off the beaten path type of. But we actually had on the top 5 last week. We had the all gold.
Oh yeah,
with the blue dial, and that's
bargain
a killer
too.
piece. Yeah,
because that one was like 18 grand or something, maybe less.
I think that one sold.
Maybe 16,000. I can't remember. I felt like that was a bargain, and you're seeing obviously like the difference between buying a stainless steel sport model from these brands and buying the gold one is so close it's crazy. But I personally prefer the platinum dial. That was my favorite. Platinum with the red. I've loved that watch. I traded that watch. I might end up buying another one. We'll see. And
I was gonna say you didn't love it that much.
You make decisions.
I get it.
I sold that because I was buying a watch for my wife and I wanted to free up some funds, and I tend to make rash decisions.
The Bell and Blue.
That's right. Yeah. I probably should have kept it and just bought the watch for her, but that's what I do. I've seen somebody wear this watch on a NATO, though. The Yachtmaster on a NATO.
Really?
Oh, dude, it looks surprisingly nice.
I mean, I've seen the rubber beads and stuff like that. But,
on a NATO, it's actually nice.
Yeah, I can see that.
On the right one. So, all right, that's the top 5. Let's throw the graphic up one more time. So we see, just to remind, it's behind us. Here it is. Oh, and now it's on the screen. All right, so Daytona, Submariner, Royal Oak Chrono, Yachtmaster, which is the luxury Submariner. That's right. All right, that was top 5.
That's a lot of Rolex.
All right, guys. Let's see. Do we have any reactions in the chat box?
Yeah. Obviously, some of the pricing was wrong, so everybody's jumping on there to help out with that.
Yeah.
But,
it's crazy. I can check the pricing on that sub. Do we know if that was right or not? Oh, that was right. Okay, so it must be it must be a vintage watch that is worth so much money because of patina and whatnot, right? We can ask Manjos why that's worth so much.
Because it's cool.
Yeah. It's got patina, or like what I like to call water damage.
Speaking of, where's your Panerai?
You know what? It's at the house.
Oh, I thought it was at the bottom of the ocean again.
Yeah, it will be soon enough. All right, guys. So let's get into the meat of the show. So this week we wanted to talk about something that we've kind of talked about roughly here and there. So we wanted to make it a main topic, and that is some mistakes people make when buying watches, right? And we all make these mistakes. These are ones you want to try to avoid, but there's also value in learning from these things. So let me pull up the list, the top 5. I don't think we have a graphic for it, so let's pull it up here.
What happened to the graphic I designed, guys? I put a little.
So in no particular
napkin.
order, we're not going to do a countdown. We're just going to talk about some of these. So one thing that I would say would be a big mistake, especially when it's your first, like when you're spending a substantial amount of money. So you're not just buying a watch just to buy a watch, but you want to start a collection.
Right.
The first watch you buy, a lot of times you want to buy a watch that you can wear in any situation, especially since, like, if you're excited, you put a lot of thought into buying the watch, and then you find out, I can't wear this in every situation. And so the first one we want to talk about is buying a dress watch as your first watch would be a mistake in starting a collection. Would you agree, Jay?
Yeah, I gotta say this is one that I get a lot from a lot of guys. It doesn't necessarily just have to be a dress watch, but buying something that doesn't fit your lifestyle, doesn't fit you 90% of your life, right? So like dress watches are a perfect example because you can spend a bunch of time watching these shows, right? Listening to Tim, figuring out what the most beautiful movement, the most beautiful watch, and then you save up your money and you buy the watch, right? Regardless of the market and what it's going to be worth later and all that. But now you're in a position where you have this great watch and you just can't find a opportunity to wear it.
Yeah.
You go to work every day, but you wear slat. You're just a jean kind of guy, whatever. But you own this Moser. And it's kind of a tough.
Yeah, rose gold Moser.
Yeah, it's kind of a tough situation because now you're emotionally attached to this piece, and you did it the right way. You didn't rush into it, but you just can't wear the watch. So now you're pushed into a position where what's the second piece? Do I go buy a sport watch? Do I?
Yeah, that's what happens.
And I think that is part of one of the other problems, which we'll get to when I'll link back to that. But
another way to say
you
this,
gotta buy something that's versatile and that you can wear all the time and really fall in love with it. Like you said, that watch took you a couple days to fall in love with it. Some people aren't as
this is kind of a dress watch, right?
Right, but some people aren't as advanced to assessing watches as you, because we deal with them every day. So maybe let's say you buy a dress watch and you have to wear it for 2 months before you realize you really like it, but you never get an opportunity to wear it for 2 months straight.
Sure.
So a lot of people end up resenting the first watch.
Right. So another way to think about this is, one of the factors you have to consider when buying a watch, which not everybody it seems like when you're talking about it now, it seems like it's obvious, but when are you going to wear the watch?
Right.
Seasoned collectors, a lot of times, they go through that. They think, okay, when can I wear this watch? Because at that point you're looking at it more of, where does it fit in my collection? Right, but if you're buying your first watch, when can I wear it? Doesn't always come up. So that is something you have to keep as a factor. So buying a dress watch for your first watch, dude, it can be limiting. Like I can't. So for example, I was wearing the Note 8 Sub. I can wear that to the gym. I can put on a dress shirt and then wear that out to dinner with my wife. Cannot wear this watch to the gym.
Right.
I probably shouldn't be wearing any of these watches to the gym, but if I wanted to, I could wear the Note 8 Sub where this does not make sense wearing to the gym. It looks silly. Like I'd be embarrassed.
It would hold up in a physical sense, but it just wouldn't look great.
Yeah, it would look. I would feel silly.
Right. I mean, more so than usual.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Jay.
You're welcome. So yeah,
look, Jason's making fun of me, guys.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Back to regular scheduled programming.
All right. So you want to next point?
So we can move to the next point, but I think part of making the decision has to be, instead of just to kind of finish it, has to be how versatile are you going to be able to wear the watch. So
okay, guys, nothing wrong with buying a dress watch. Okay, just not listen to what we're saying. Let's take one sentence out of context and make an argument against it.
Dress watches are great. Are they the most versatile piece that's going to be in your watch box? No. I think 9 times out of 10, most guys that are buying watches should start with something like an engineer's watch or a sports watch.
Yeah, tool watch.
Right. So
yeah, not a watch worn by tools, but a tool watch. Yeah, because it's more versatile. So
unless it's the band tool. I don't know.
I don't know if they're good or not. But all right. So the next one, Jay, you got the list?
No, I don't. So.
Okay. So the next consideration you have to make in order to avoid a mistake is buying. Guys who go out there and buy quantity over quality. So again, we're talking about entering in, creating your collection from the beginning. A lot of guys, they go in and they just go crazy. So they find one watch they like. on like a lower price point, or doesn't even have to be a lower price point, but buying quantity over quality. And we'll expound about this in a second. I know Jason's ready to go on this, but when we talk about quality, we're not specifically talking about the quality of the watch and the way it's made. We're talking about building a collection, so the quality of your collection, right?
Right.
So, Jay,
this is one
yeah,
that I've done. Right.
Okay.
I've done several times, to be honest, in multiple collections, not just watches. Becoming obsessed with the next purchase and chasing down the next hunt. Right. We've talked about that extensively before, but only leads to like too many pieces.
Yeah.
And you don't really take the time. Yeah, you don't really take the time to do the research and fall in love with what you have. It's just the next one. And what happens is you end up, with 50 watches. At one point I had just an absurd amount of watches, but they're all under $200, $250 a piece.
So not a lot of trade value too.
Yeah. So then what you end up doing, and we hear this from guys all the time. So I know this is undeniably one of the top 5, because it's a common thread with most of the guys we talk to, is trades, like paring down a collection. And you only get to that point when you just have excess pieces. So I think the main thing here is, like you said, we're not saying that don't buy Seikos because you should be buying Rolexes. What we're saying is being happy with the quality of the overall collection and how well-rounded the box is, as opposed to having 65 watches laying out.
And case in point, we're seeing in the chat box, guys, I bought 30 watches and I was never satisfied. Like, buy 50 Seikos.
Right.
There's a lot of these guys. I mean, I've done it too, man. So especially when you start out, you don't know what you like.
And you have to realize, like, you're when I say you, I mean the general watch guy, the watch buyer, is sick in the head. Like, we all have that, like, collector mentality,
right,
like that certain completionist aspect of, so like for me, when I found a Seiko model that I was really into, I had to have every dial of that. I had to have every hand variation.
Sure.
If it was on a bracelet and a strap, I had to have both. Like, it became a problem. Now, I was lucky enough that, they don't have a tremendous amount of trade value, but Seikos are always going to find a home.
Sure.
So, I was able to get out of them. But, here, a little bit of personal life here. I have been in I've been in an ever-ending battle with my father about watches.
Whoa.
So my father...
Tell me how you feel.
My father has always liked watches, right? So me growing up, he's always had a watch. He's always liked watches. But he likes a lot of watches. He likes having hundreds of watches, and he's always told me, like, oh, my Grail watch is a... like a Omega Seamaster or Omega Planet Ocean. That's eventually a watch he wants to get. But he has hundreds of Invictas, right? So I've always said, like, well, why don't you sell 30 of those Invictas, or 20 of those Invictas, because they're worth, what, $200 a piece? Something like that at the end of the day. And let's get your Grail watch. Let's buy, but I think he's come to terms with the fact that it's not about each specific piece. He just likes amassing a lot of pieces.
Right. So you can look at your collection.
But I just feel like eventually one day he's going to be like, I probably should have got that Omega. But, I don't know. I think there's a lot of guys that are out there, and it's okay to realize that you messed up, and the right way to go about it is just paring down.
I'm loving this chat box right now. These guys are very engaged. Usually they're attacking each other and us, but now they're very engaged in our topic. So
what do we get?
A guy, Kyle K, says, I have 50 watches, still not enough. A True Lie says, I can see the appeal of buying 50 Seikos. Just don't do it. And this is true, man.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. Patrick Chip says, 20 watch limit to my collection. I have to sell one to get one, which I'm kind of at that point now. I'm a little under 20 watches. I'm probably at like maybe 7 or 8 good watches that we would say are good or whatever, and then probably as many like watches that I probably can't trade. When I say a good watch, I'm saying a watch that I can probably trade and get some decent value for it. And then there's watches that you sell, and it's like if I sell a watch for $450, like why sell it? Just keep it.
So for me, like,
even for like
if I'm going to get rid of something, I have to offset at least a decent amount of what I'm purchasing.
Yeah.
So earlier today, I was thinking about, you guys know I like the Bulgari, the Finissimo Titanium.
That's right. Finissimo.
I was kind of like playing with the idea of disappearing my PAM 510 into that watch.
Because you haven't been wearing it.
Yeah, I don't know that it would be enough. It would incentivize me enough to cover the Finissimo. I'd probably just keep the 510 for what it's worth. I think at the end of the day, like, it's probably worth $3,000, $3,200, something like that to a dealer, like, for me to just liquidate it. So I don't know, but you know, even guys like us go through that.
Oh, we go
like,
back and forth.
Should I sell this to get this? Yeah, it's bad. You torture yourself. So.
Yeah. But so that's that. So buying quantity over quality. You know, like go slow. Think about what you're doing, and you know, because you're making a commitment. You know, you're spending not a small amount of money on something that you're supposed to enjoy, and if you buy it, and then the only enjoyment you get is actually chasing and buying it, and then it sits in the watch box, I feel like that you can be considered a mistake.
And being self-aware enough to know that you're running down that rabbit hole, right? Because I mean, it's probably a little too little, too late. Because the guys that are watching this have already made this mistake.
Yeah.
But we've all been there, man, and just like you gotta. And people do it with stuff that's not cheap too. Like guys go, I need every Rolex, like. And at the end of the day, I mean...
Yeah, well, Rolex is easier to get out of. But yeah, if you go out and if you need to build an entire collection of bulgari, so great watches, I'm sure, but it's not going to be the easiest thing to kind of pare down if you want to. Yeah, Jason's upset about that one.
But to be
so
fair,
let's get to the next topic, man. We don't got a ton of time here.
We're an hour and a half today.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone will love that. All right, so the next one... And I'm sure you're going to look at us and say, well, we're very biased. But while we're not the only one out here. So we'd say buying without vetting a seller. So some guys are looking to just get every last dollar off the watch or looking for the greatest deal. And certainly they exist. And if you do it right, you can find them. But buying without vetting a seller, just like, you know, just searching online and clicking buy now on the first watch you buy can be a massive issue.
Yeah, I mean... Listen.
Not just because of like outright fraud, but like... customer service, if the watch is broken, finding out what their ability is to actually back their warranty and how they're going to back their warranty. Like these are all things that are important. And one of the things we took off the list before is like understanding the cost of care for a watch. And if you're buying a watch from, you know, Joe Schmo who's just flipping it and making $150 on every watch, that could be a great contact for you. But if you buy that watch from him for $8,500 and then it needs a $2,500 service and Joe Schmo's not going to answer your call when you call him back, that doesn't sound like that's a good deal.
Not only that, but the dealer who is out of his league in terms of flipping that watch is not going to spend the money necessary to get it ready for you to wear it, right? He's just flipping it as fast as possible. But it's not like he's going to send that watch to Paddock and get a full service and put a new strap and all that stuff. He's just finding one that's pretty. Maybe he has, you know, his guy that just polishes it up and then puts it on the so there is a cost associated with dealing with a strong dealer. And, you know, it's never going to be the cheapest, you know, the best possible deal. But knowing that there's something substantial behind it is important. And it just really comes down to what piece is it and is it worth it? So we've talked about this before. Like, I have regular customers who will call me and go, but it's a Tudor. And I'm like, all right, we'll buy it on Joma Shop then. If $3,000 is not at the end of the day going to break you, then buy the fun watch on Joma, you know, because nobody cares.
Right.
But you're not buying a Patek that way. You're not buying a Lange that way.
So I have a rule. So, like, if I'm going to go gray market, like one of those guys, and there are legitimate gray market sellers, it's under $5,000.
C5 is generous to me. If I was buying something like, I think a Black Bay would be like the most I would just like spend on like $3,000 is like the most I would just throw away to get something gray market. But that's me.
And some guys are saying in here, so like we have guys asking so somebody named PP is asking, does a warranty card matter when buying? So that's a blanket statement. I'd say some cases yes, some cases no. I think it depends on, well, number one, the age of the watch. If you care about the provenance, or if you're buying, say you're buying a watch from somebody like us, but you plan on selling it privately, warranty card probably matters more, because as a private seller, people are going to be, they're looking for more peace of mind than if you're buying it from somebody who's large and established, an authorized dealer, and who can warranty and I'll guarantee all that stuff. So if you're buying a watch from like one of the big guys, then a warranty card probably doesn't matter that much. If you're buying it from a guy on OfferUp, right, I would say probably find a warranty card.
So what's the relationship like? Are you going to sell that watch? Like, so if I sell you something and we have a really good relationship and I sell you something without a warranty card and it's coming back to me anyways, I'm not going to care if it has a warranty card because I sold it to you that way, obviously. So if you're looking to always sell it to end market, you're going to sell it privately, then the warranty card will help later. The only thing with the warranty card is if you're not getting one, just make sure you're not paying for one, right? You don't want to pay the same price for one that doesn't have a warranty card. But if you're getting the discount on the first end, it doesn't matter.
That's true.
Especially if the watch is not under warranty anymore. At that point, it's just a piece of plastic that helps you say it's a full set.
Well, it's provenance. If you want to buy a watch based on where it's from or whatever like that, those are important. All right, so let's get to the next topic. All right, the next bullet point here is, and I've never been one of these, so I'm going to defer to Jason, but we have some guys on the team, believing boutique employees. So when I say that, that's an inflammatory statement, Jason. What does that mean?
Makes me mad. No. So it's just, taking everything with a grain of salt. So if I'm trying to sell you something because my sole compensation is that exact piece, and I'm the type of guy that only sells one brand at a boutique or something like that, and I have nothing good to say about other brands, and I don't have to worry about the pre-owned market when I have to buy this watch back from you, then maybe take it with if anybody tells you it's a limited edition and it will definitely go up in value and it's going to be a collectible item for sure, I would be careful. Yeah,
well, because especially if they don't ask them, okay, well, how much would you buy this back for? And so, well, we don't buy watches back. Right. Okay, then call somebody who does in order to get verification of that.
Most people that don't deal in the pre-owned market and are only new retail for one brand specifically are only worried about not seeing you until the return period.
Well, that's what you said before. That was a very interesting concept, and because I've worked only in like secondary market or secondary and primary. I've never thought about that, but yeah, if you're in a boutique or if you're in a mono brand or multi-brand boutique, they technically are only incentivized to care about you until the return period ends.
Well, I mean,
maybe they're good people, maybe they do care about you, and you have a relationship. And there certainly are those people.
Yeah,
but they're incentivized only to care about the sale until
the worst possible situation for this is cruise ships.
Oh yeah,
because it's literally as soon as you step off that ship, you're done. But if I go into a boutique and somebody who works for a brand that, let's say, is not Patek or Rolex tells me that they're the pinnacle of creation, they invented, the automatic movement, they invented the chronograph, which everybody says they did, and this watch X, Y, and Z is a limited edition of 2 million pieces, but it's guaranteed to go up in value. You're just selling a dream at that point.
Well,
so
if the person you're talking to is not active in the secondary market, how the hell would they know? Maybe they're educated, but if you don't have a personal relationship with that guy, and you don't know that he's educated, and you just walked in the boutique and he seems friendly, and don't believe what he says.
So I mean,
don't believe what I say.
If you love the watch, then buy it by all means. If you can stomach but we know the secondary market, and we're still not sure. Yeah. Nobody knows what the future holds, right? I mean,
all right. So let's do that was 4. So the last one is, and this should come back to even our opinions. Relying too much on others' opinions. So getting ideas and thoughts from other people, sure, it's fair. But if you are basing your watch purchasing solely based on your wife's opinion, your buddy at work's opinion, or even ours, you're making a mistake. You got to figure out what you like first, and then get some input, and really just try to get information. But hey, I like it, or hey, I don't, or buying a watch and deciding whether you like it based on how many people notice the watch, I think that is a recipe for disaster, in my opinion.
I think what you're doing there is just doing yourself a disservice, because you're basically removing yourself from evolving as a connoisseur, right? You're taking the joy out of like discovering what you love and putting it in other people's hands. So I've had many people, clients even, buy watches from me and go, I took it to work and nobody said anything, so sure. I gotta return it, or I gotta exchange it. But like, you should be buying it because the two before that taught you that this one was the right one, not because you were hoping you were going to get a different reaction. Tons of guys, obviously there's a thing where people try and hide stuff from their wives and whatnot, but tons of guys are on the other side of that, where it's like, if the wife didn't like it, I can't keep it. But instead of her loving your watch, like, let's get her into a watch. Let's see, let's evolve that side of it. So I just, you should really be worrying about doing the research and figuring out why or why you don't like the watch, not what somebody else says about the watch, I think. It is important for other people to have somewhat of an opinion, but not one that controls whether or not you buy or keep the watch.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that was we covered most everything here. I know that we've all made these mistakes. I know guys who've made these mistakes over the years. And even though you listen to this and you take our advice, people are still going to make the mistake. I'm still going to make the mistake. You are as well, Jason. So what's the moral of the story?
Is there a moral to this story?
There is none. All right, guys. So if you like this show, tune in next week. We can figure out what we're going to talk about next week. Hopefully, I have a nice guest. But if not, maybe I'll just do the show myself.
I'd love to see that.
Well, Jason did one. It was a great show.
I challenge you here and now to do the show by yourself.
Challenge not accepted yet. So subscribe to our channel. We got over 75,000 subscriptions. So now actually you don't even have to subscribe anymore.
76.
75,000 was the limit. You can unsubscribe. Honestly, it's fine. Our producer does not like that. All right, keep subscribing. We want to get to 80, guys. Let's get to 80,000 because I think my producer gets a bonus if that's the case. So he'll buy me a coffee. That's right. Subscribe to our channel. Check us out. If you ever want to contact us about watches, you can email us jthanos@godbergwatches, jmain at
Jason M.
Jason M at godbergwatches.com. You have our phone numbers on the screen. Check us out on Instagram. We're always posting cool pictures of watches. Mine is Mr. Thanos. Very easy. Jason has an Instagram now. He finally got on there.
It's Evo_watches. I've been doing Instagram longer than Josh.
Yeah, okay. But, Evo_watches, brand new to Instagram, so he's going to post some cool stuff. Watchbox Global. Is it just Watchbox? Just Watchbox on Instagram. You can check us out there too. And otherwise, enjoy the end of your Thursday, and on to Friday and your weekend.
Yeah, he's done.
All right, guys.